Today, I want to talk about 5 ways to gather money for the down payment of your house. But before I talk about those 5 ways, I want you to focus on the type of down payments that we're talking about. So there are a lot of products available in the market, but I want you to focus on 2 things in particular. There are loans that request down payments that are less than 20%, and there are loans that require a down payment of 20% and higher. The main difference between these two is that when you go for a loan that requires less than 20% of down payment, you will have to purchase what they call a private mortgage insurance. PMI for short. And that's basically a insurance that's going to cover the difference between your down payment and the minimum of 20%. So let's say, for example, you go for a loan that allows you to put a 5% down payment. Because you're putting less than 5%, the lender is going to require you to buy private mortgage insurance to cover the remaining 15%. So that insurance is in addition of your homeowner's insurance. The PMI is just to cover the portion of the money that you're not given as a down payment. So when you look at the overall monthly payment, you are responsible for paying principal and interest, that's the debt and the interest. You're also responsible for paying property taxes, your home insurance, and also the private mortgage insurance. So that means that although you're paying less money up front through your down payment, your monthly payments are going to be higher in comparison to when you pay 20% or more for the down payment. Because when you do that, that means you don't have to worry about a private mortgage insurance. So your monthly payments will be principal and interest, your property taxes, and your home insurance. So it's kind of like a trade-off, okay? So do you want to pay less money up front but pay more on a monthly basis? Or do you want to do a bit of a sacrifice and pay more upfront, but then your monthly payments will be shorter? That will be completely up to your discretion to decide which of those 2 are more convenient for you. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the different ways that you can gather money for your down payment. And the first one is through a grant. So for those who don't know, grants come from the government. So they're basically an assistance program that it's going to help you with the down payment, and you don't have to give that money back. So it's given to you. To qualify for those, you have to meet a certain criteria. Now, how do you know where those programs are? It's very easy. 1, you can work with a realtor or a real estate agent that it's helping you in the home buying process, and that person should have the knowledge about grants that are available in the market. If for whatever reason you're choosing not to work with a real estate agent and you're buying a home on your own, then you can do a quick Google search for grants available in your area. So let's take Houston, for example, because I know we have a lot of followers from Houston. Let's say you want to find what grants are available in that area. So to do a quick demonstration, let's come into Google, type in a quick search for the Houston area, because we have a lot of people who follow us in Houston. So you type in grants in Houston, Texas for home purchase, and you're going to see a list of resources coming up. So I want you to skip the ones that says sponsor, because that means they pay for an ad to put them all the way up in the top. I want you to go to the ones that don't have the word sponsor, because that's where it shows where the real deal is, right? You don't have to pay to get access to good information. So in this case, you click in the Home Buyer Assistance Housing and Community Program, and you will see where the requirements are. So you read through them. From what I see here, they're offering up to $50,000 to income qualified residents, because the city has this program to assist home buyers in their home purchase process. So if for whatever reason you are not in Houston, let's say you're in New York, all you got to do is just to replace the word Houston with New York, and then a bunch of listings should come up in the New York City area or the New York State area with different resources that you can tap into and then take advantage of those grants to help you with the down payment. Hello and welcome to NovaRise, your channel for financial education. In here, you will learn everything related to real estate investments, investments in the stock market, precious metals, and businesses. The next thing you can do is to invest in the stock market. I know this has worked out for me a lot of times. So the idea of investing your money is to start doing it when you don't need the money and let it grow over time. So when it comes to investing in the stock market, make sure you do your proper research and you get an idea of what you're investing. If you don't know where to start, I typically like to start with ETFs because that way you invest in a little bit of everything and your risk is diversified. My favorite ETF is the Vanguard S&P 500 and it goes by the ticker that you see on the screen. So the whole analogy is that you can start investing, let's say $1,000, maybe 500 here, maybe 100 there, and let, the whole snowball effect happen. And then over the years, that investment is going to grow. Yes, of course, there's some market corrections here and there, and you might see some dips here and there, but the idea is that you hold it long enough over time, your portfolio, it's going to grow enough for you to be able to one day liquidate that money and use it towards the down payment. I know I have personally liquidated my stock portfolio multiple times to help me with the down payment of any property that I'm looking to buy. The second tool that I've implemented is investing in precious metals, particularly in gold. This is something that it's relatively new to me, but I've listened to many of my mentors saying that gold, it's a great thing to park your money in and that you shouldn't look at that as investment and that you should look at gold as insurance money. So it's insurance against inflation. Over the years, as the government prints more and more money, your dollar decreases in value over time and you will need more money to buy things, right? But with gold, with one gold coin, the expectation is that that gold coin or that gold bullion will increase value over time and it will protect your monetary value against inflation. So you can liquidate that gold down the line and you will still get enough money to do whatever projects you need to do. So when I first purchased gold, it was more of like an insurance, money that I was putting aside in the event of an emergency. Let's say like a health emergency or war breaks out and I need to do something and take that gold with me elsewhere when the dollar is not worth anything. I don't know. The point is I wasn't planning on touching that gold at all. But it wasn't until recently that we came across this property that everything matched in it. We weren't necessarily looking to invest. So that means we were not prepared to invest in this particular project. But because it was such a great deal, we couldn't let it pass. So what we did is that we looked at our assets and we decided that the best tool that we had at the moment was to liquidate our investment grade gold. So we liquidated that money. It was fairly easy. We just picked a gold dealer and we went in there personally and they inspected the gold. They confirmed that it was legit and they just wrote us a check on the spot. We took that check, we deposited into our account, and the lender accepted that. We showed them the receipt, and they saw that it came from a legitimate source, and that is not just some random money that came out of nowhere. And it was accepted as a down payment, and here we are. It is always good to invest when you don't need the money and then use it when you need it. But if you wait until you need the money to invest, chances are that might be a little too late. So this is just one of the many options and how I have been able to amass money over the years. Yes, you can save your money, but your savings are going to be limited to the interest that you could be getting in the bank. But if you invest it by making informed decisions, then that money has the potential to grow a lot faster and exponentially. So you can liquidate it when you need it and help you with that large purchase that you are planning to get. What do you think so far about this tip? Let me know down in the comment section. Another way that I've come up with money for my down payment is by accessing my retirement plans. So if you're a W-2 employee, chances are you either have a 401k or you have an IRA. If you have a 401k, there's two ways to access that money, at least in my experience. The two ways is by borrowing against it, and one is by taking a withdrawal. I don't like to take a withdrawal because that means you have to pay taxes on it and you also have to pay a penalty. But if you take a loan against it, then you don't have to pay any penalty. You just have to make sure you pay that money back. So by taking that loan, I was able to use it as a down payment for some of my properties. Something similar happens with the IRA. So if you have an IRA account, you have the option to use that money and then you will have 60 days to put that money back. Otherwise, you have to pay taxes and penalties. So recently, in the purchase of this big property, we needed to tap into our IRA funds. So what we decided to do is we liquidated some of our assets inside the IRA, and then we paid it back slowly within 60 days. We had this project that we've been working on, and we were expecting a big payout. It wasn't coming in yet, and that's why we didn't have the money to buy this big piece of real estate. So what we decided to do is just to get creative, utilize what we have, and then once the money came in, we will use that money to put it back into the IRA. Another creative way that I've leveraged to come up with the down payment of my properties is by utilizing credit cards. So this is a double-edged sword, so you have to be very careful because the more debt that you have, the more your credit is going to get impacted. So you have to do this strategically. So what I normally like to do is that I work on increasing my lines of credit as much as I can. And I do that by making sure that those credit line increases are done through a soft pull and not a hard inquiry, because if it's a hard inquiry, it's going to hurt your credit score. So I make sure that I get all my credit lines increase, and then I leverage those credit cards that give me a 0% offer. So I use those cards and I buy precious metals. You have two options here. You can buy your full limit on precious metals and then pay that credit card slowly without worrying about interest, or you can use up to 30% of your total credit limit line, so that way you keep it on the 30% and then you just buy precious metals with that. I personally used all of my credit lines to buy the precious metals and let the precious metal grow in value, and then I slowly make my credit card payments to bring that debt down, leveraging the 0% offer. Now, you can use these strategies one by one, or you can use them all simultaneously, like I have. Hope the video was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.